Welcome to Cursive Lesson 7. Please make sure you complete your heading. You should have your name, number, date. All the lines should be filled in. Our directions say, trace each letter and use the dots provided to practice writing each letter. I have the directions written in cursive so that you get used to reading cursive as well as writing cursive. So today we are working on the letters P and J. Okay, so with P, we're going to start on the dot. And though it looks similar to our A, it's actually a little bit different. The P and J go together more. So we're going to first start on the dot. We're going to continue as a slant up to the line, the dotted line. Stop there. Retrace back down below the line into that basement. Then we're going to curve back to make a loop. Then retrace that line again. Curve around, complete our oval. Retrace and make our tail. So again, we start on the dot. A lot of retracing on this one. Curve up to the dotted line, retrace down, curve back toward the dot like our G. Then we retrace this letter, curve all the way around to complete our oval. Make sure you're touching the bottom. Retrace just the bottom part so we can make the tail. So we start at the dot, curve up, go at a slant up to that dotted middle line, go back down all the way below the line, curve back toward the dot like the G, go back up that line. Now we're going to touch the middle. We're going to make an oval, touch the bottom, complete the oval over on this side, retrace the bottom of that oval, and make your tail. Now, the important part of cursive here is that you don't lift your pencil until you're done with the letter. It should be one smooth motion. And the better you get at forming the letters, the faster it actually is than printing. Start at the dot. We're going to slant up toward the dotted line. Retrace that line all the way below. Curve back. Go back up that line. Curve around, touch the middle, touch the bottom, complete your oval, and then retrace that bottom part and make your tail. Okay, so we start on the dot, we slant up toward that middle line like I, then we retrace down, but we keep going below. We curve back toward the dot and then go back up this line till we get to the middle dotted line, and we curve around, touch the bottom, complete our oval, retrace that bottom part, and make our tail. So we're going to start on the dot, and we're going to slant up toward the middle dotted line, retrace that line, go all the way below the bottom line. We're going to curve back toward the dot, continue back up that line, curve to the middle dotted, curve around to the bottom, complete the oval, retrace the bottom of that oval, and make your tail. This one has a lot of motions in it. So we start at the dot, we're going to curve up toward the middle, make that slant, retrace down all the way below, curve back toward the dot, continue back up the line, touch the middle dotted line, touch that bottom line, complete your oval, Retrace the bottom of the oval and make your tail. The tail is where it's going to connect to the next letter when we start forming words. Start at the dot, curve up at a slant to the dot, go back down that line, curve back toward the dot, go back up the line, curve around, touch the middle, curve down, touch the bottom, complete your oval, retrace the bottom of your oval, and make your tail. Okay, lots of steps in the letter P. Let's go ahead and trace again. We start at the dot, we curve up to that middle dotted line, retrace back down all the way below, curve back, go back up, touch that middle, curve around, touch the bottom, complete your oval, retrace the bottom, and make your tail. So we start at the bottom, curve up toward the line, retrace back down that line below the line, curve back, go back up the line, curve, touch that middle dotted, curve, touch the bottom, complete your oval, retrace the bottom, and make your tail. Okay, start at the dot, we're going to curve up toward that middle dotted line, retrace that down below, curve back, go back up the line, touch that middle dotted line, curve around, touch the bottom, complete your oval, retrace the bottom, make your tail. So we start on the dot, we're going to curve up toward the line, retrace back down below, curve back toward the dot, retrace the line, curve up toward the middle line, touch the middle line, touch the bottom line, complete your oval, retrace the bottom, and make your tail. Okay, so here you're going to start out the dot, you're going to slant up toward the dotted line, retrace that line down below, curve back toward the dot, go back up the line, curve, touch the top, curve, touch the bottom, complete your oval, retrace the bottom of your oval, make your tail. Start on the dot, you're going to slant up toward the middle line, retrace that line down below, curve back toward the dot, continue up that line, curve, touch the top, curve, touch the bottom, complete the oval, retrace the bottom, and make the tail. Start on the dot, you're going to curve up to the dotted line, retrace that line, go down below, curve back toward the dot, continue back up that line, curve, touch the middle, curve, touch the bottom, complete your oval, retrace the bottom of the oval, and make your tail. Start on your dot, curve up toward the dotted line, retrace that on that dotted line, go below, curve back toward the dot, continue back up that line, curve, touch the middle dotted, curve, touch the bottom, complete your oval, retrace the bottom of your oval, and make your tail. Now we're going to work on the J's, which is actually a little bit easier because we don't have to worry about forming this oval on our letter. So now we're on to the J's. So here we're going to start at the dot. We're going to curve up, touch the middle, retrace down like the letter I, but we're going to continue down below, curve back toward the dot, and then cross, and then we put our jot. Okay, now if this were in the middle of the word, we wouldn't put that jot until we were all done forming the word. Remember, with cursive, you don't lift your pencil till you finish the letter or word. So we start at the dot, curve up to the middle, we go slant up, retrace down, continue below the bottom line into the basement, curve back toward the dot, and then cross. Similar to our G and P. Start at the dot, we're going to curve up toward that middle line, so it's a slant up, retrace down, go below, curve back toward the dot, and then cross. Oh, I forgot to put the jot on this one and jot on this one. Don't forget that. We start at the dot, we're going to slant up, continue, trace back down, go below, curve back, cross, and put our jot. Okay, now let's try some on our own. Start at the dot, we're going to slant up, retrace back down, go below, curve back towards the dot, cross, and jot. Start at the dot, we're going to slant up, retrace down, continue below, curve toward the dot, cross, and jot. Start on the dot, curve up toward the dotted line, retrace back down, curve toward the dot, cross, and jot. Okay, start at the dot, slant up toward the dotted line, retrace down, continue below, curve toward the dot, cross, and jot. Okay, now we're going to continue tracing to see if we can improve on forming our letters. Start at the dot, slant up, retrace down, go below, curve back toward the dot, cross, and jot. Start at the dot, slant up toward that middle dotted line, retrace down, continue below the line, curve back toward the dot, cross, and jot. Start at the dot, slant up toward that middle line, retrace down, continue below, curve back toward the dot, cross, and jot. Okay, we're going to start on the dot. We're going to slant up, trace down, continue below, curve back towards the dot, cross, and then jot. Now let's practice some more J's. Start at the dot, we're going to slant up toward the middle line, trace down, continue below, curve back toward the dot, cross, and jot. Start at the dot, we're going to curve up to the dotted line, retrace back down, curve toward the dot, cross, and jot. Start on the dot, curve up toward the dotted line, retrace back down, curve toward the jot, cross, jot. Start on the dot, slant up to the middle line, retrace, continue below the line, curve back toward the dot, cross, and jot. So that is how we form our P's and our J's. Go ahead and practice more on the other side so you can get even faster with forming these letters. And thank you for joining me.